All right, boys and girls, today we're going to add and subtract decimals. This is pretty easy. The biggest thing is whenever you add or subtract decimals, you need to line up the decimal. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So our first problem here, we have 2.32 plus 6.1. So what we want to do is you can start with either number, but we need to write it down. So I'm going to write down my 2.32 first, and I'm going to space them out a little bit, just so that they're nice and neat. So there's my 2.32. And then I need to put my 6.1 next. And when I say line up the decimal, go ahead and put the decimal right under the other decimal so they're nice and neat in a line. So then I just have to put the 6 in front of the decimal and the 1 behind the decimal, and I'm finished. And so now the next thing, the number one mistake that most students make is they put the wrong operation sign on it. So make sure you look back and remember that this is adding. So put your plus sign. Now, I know you all learned this in rounding or working with decimals before, but over here we have this blank spot. Well, you can either leave it blank, or if you want to put in a 0, you can. So we're going to put a 0 in there just so that everything's nice and neat. Now we're just ready to add. And so you add as normal. We're going to start at the end. We're going to do 2 plus 0, which is 2. We're going to do 3 plus 1, which is 4. And then when we get to the decimal, we just bring it down. I always just say, what's decimal plus a decimal? It's still a decimal. So we just bring it straight down. And then we do 6 plus 2, and the answer is 8. And so our final answer is just 8.42. So we're going to do a couple more just so that you know what to do here. We have 3.3 plus 6.84. So again, pick one. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put 3.3 first. I'm going to put my decimal right underneath the decimal, and then I'm going to add in my 6 and my 8.4, and now I'm ready to add. Again, I'm missing a space here. If you want to put a 0 in, you can. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. It really doesn't matter. A blank is a 0. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11. We write down our 1. Here's our 11. We write down our 1, and then we regroup our 1 to the next column. Now we have a decimal plus a decimal, which is a decimal. And then 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So our answer is 10.14. Now I'm going to show you a couple of subtraction problems. You do them exactly the same way. We have 2.9 minus 1.8. So we're going to write down our 2.9. I'm going to put my decimal for the next one right below it. And then I'm going to put in my 1 and my 8. And I'm going to write down subtract this time so I remember to subtract. So now it's just like the before. 9 minus 8 is 1. Decimal minus decimal, you just bring down the decimal. And then 2 minus 1 is 1. So our answer is 1.1. And so our last problem for today, another subtraction problem, we have 3.72 minus 1.9. Again, I'm just going to write down my top number, 3.72. And then I'm going to put my decimal underneath my decimal, and then I'm going to put in my 1.9. And I'm going to subtract. And again, if you don't like this space here, you can put in your 0. So now we just subtract as normal. 2 minus 0 is still 2. 7 minus 9. Well, the small number's on top. I can't subtract it. I have to regroup. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go next door over to the 3. I'm going to change this 3 to a 2. And then I'm really bringing 10 back. So what is 10 plus 7? It's 17. So our 7 is now a 17. So what is 17 minus 9? It is 8. Decimal minus decimal, we just bring down the decimal. And then we're left with 2 minus 1, which is 1. So our answer is 1.82. That is the end of the lesson for today. And actually, really, that's all there is to do with adding and subtracting decimals. So just make sure you line up the decimal, and then you just bring it straight down. That's all you have to do. Now, I've been having trouble with this program cutting off early, and so I'm going to count to 20, actually probably 10, and see